VH1. I'm your host, Suzie Nemo, bringing you the best news on television. Tonight we have the second episode of the hit new series, I Love the 20s. Last week we brought you the highlights of the year 1920, and the outstanding reviews and strong following has called for this airing of the second episode, 1921. In this episode, my crew and I are going to be covering the political, domestic, social, foreign, economic, and editorial events that forever changed the world we live in today. To start things off this evening, we have Jamie with everything significant in politics during 1921.
Thanks, Suze. This year in politics brought President Harding's promise to return to normalcy. Harding presented an economic isolationist view and attempt to rid the citizens of the bad tastes of the Great War. A growing sense of nativism once again took hold of the country, and a lingering fear of radicals, anarchists, and communists from the first Red Scare led to the Emergency Quota Act. This implemented a restriction on new immigrants where only 3% of the U.S. citizens of that nationality, according to the 1910 census, were permitted entrance.
No more room in America.
Even in the roaring 20s, there were several hundred bank failures annually. However, the stock exchange, automobile, gasoline, and real estate industries prospered in the era of boom or bust trading. Many are choosing to purchase stocks on margin and pick up hot tips to sell stock. The national debt accumulated to nearly $24 billion. Conservative economic principles led to a diversion of surplus funds to reduce the deficit. To assist the relief of financial burden, Congress introduced the Bureau of the Budget. Secretary of the Treasury Andrew Mellon believed high taxes discouraged business and brought smaller return to the Treasury by doing so. As a result, he engineered a series of tax reductions. Congress followed his lead by repealing the excess profits tax and gift tax and reducing the excise, surtax, income tax, and estate tax. Overall, it was a successful year economically and politically. Now to Sarah with the Foreign Report.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm Sarah, here with the Foreign Report. Starting with Europe, our friends from Great Britain have formed the British Legion to care for those who have suffered as a result of service in the armed forces in the Great War. Our Secretary of State, Charles Hughes, invited Britain, Japan, France, and Italy to join the Yankees at the Washington Naval Conference to discuss naval reductions in Belgium, China, the Netherlands, and Portugal, discuss issues concerning the Far East. Consequently, the 4 powers, 5 powers, and 9 power treaties emerged.
So Harding called for a conference for the limitation of naval armaments. In that era of good feeling, there seemed little likelihood that there would ever be another war.
Thanks, Sarah. 1921 was home to numerous social achievements in the United States. Art, music, sports, and entertainment thrived during this year. In sports, baseball named Kennesaw Mountain as the first commissioner, and later saw the New York Giants beat the New York Yankees 5-3 in the World Series. The Yankees also purchased 20 acres in the Bronx for the to-be-historic Yankee Stadium.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team.
1921 was in the midst of numerous social changes in the United States. These concerned prohibition, religion versus evolutionism, views on government policies, immigration, and sports and entertainment. Conflicts arose between liberal urban areas and conservative rural areas on what was considered acceptable in society. During the 1920s, beginning with the year of 1921, crime and political corruption were common occurrences in American society. Urban areas were liberal with their views of sex, alcohol, drugs, and sexual orientation.
And this is why I, Margaret Sanger, is an advocate for the National League of Birth Control.
American isolationism resulted in a rise of discriminatory views. The KKK rose and gained widespread support for their actions against the immigrants and minorities that Americans were trying to isolate themselves from. Communism was strongly opposed, and the first Red Scare occurred. The scare was the overall fear of Bolshevism and anarchism being present in the United States labor movement. Discrimination in the U.S. was also highlighted in the Sacco vs. Vanzetti trial of 1921. In this trial, two seemingly innocent men were convicted of murder only due to their ties with anarchism. In tennis, the Wimbledon's men's and women's tournaments were won by Bob Tilden and Susan Lenglen. The Tour de France of 1921 was won by Belgium's Leon Schier. I'm here with Belgium's Leon Schier, winner of the Tour de France. Leon, how did you win this great race?
Well, I trained very hard, many miles in the mountains.
In hockey, the NHL Stanley Cup was won by the Ottawa Senators, who beat the Vancouver Canucks. In figure skating, the U.S. men's and women's championships were won by Sherwin Badger and Teresa Blanchard. Charles Thompson won the 47th Kentucky Derby on Behave Yourself. In music, the first black musical comedy, Shuffle Along, premiered in New York City. In entertainment, the Miss America pageant was held in New Jersey on September 7th.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could teach you.
Now to Suzie back at the desk.
The year 1921 was a pivotal year in American society. The United States slammed the brakes on immigration with the passing of the Emergency Quota Act. The country that formerly relied on immigrants to fill the population now turned them away. Following the Great War, the United States attempted to adopt a policy of isolationism, but strayed from the tenet at the Washington Conference. In attempts to prevent future global conflicts, the United States signed a peace pact with Germany. Other nations began to adopt different government and economic systems, such as communism and fascism. Their government also increased their role in the economy, foreshadowing future economic involvement. The American social scene became more liberal as skirts became shorter and culture flourished. The commencement of the Harlem Renaissance was highlighted this year with Langston Hughes' publication of The Negro Speaks of Rivers. Overall, this year was significant in American history and set up the nation for its role in future global and internal conflicts.
Diva is a female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler.
How did you win this great race?
You know, I trained very hard.
Leon, how did you win this great race?
Well,
Wait, just hold on,
Concerning Germany, the United States